Hi, this is DVthedigitalhero slash don't like DV like the channel name. I keep forgetting what it is because we changed it a couple times in the past, but things like DVFF Productions. So yeah. Anyway, hello. Just here today to basically kind of explain what's been going on because it's kind of hard to know exactly what's been going on, what's happening, and all that stuff. The last video on my channel was trying to be a fundraiser. There was a second part to that, but I forgot to get it. But it's okay. I did like two parts of trying to raise funds to try to find a place to live. Unfortunately, that didn't work out very well. So what I'm doing instead, what I did instead, is I tried to sell my game collection for a bit, and it started making money. But unfortunately, we lost our living situation, and we now have to live in basically what it's me and Lynn and Katie all had to separate to our parents' house, which for me and Lynn was just like a few cities down, but for Katie it was all the way across the country, so not exactly great. But everything seems to be going meh. Lynn and Katie have been able to continue streaming. I cannot for three reasons. One, although I got like I got this fancy new computer rig, which is awesome and very powerful. I think you can see it. Now let me just do. Where's the button for it? Where's the button for it? I have no idea. Anyway, over there you can see my computer rig. It's a really nice rig, but it's got like two or three problems. One, next to the rig, there's that thing. That's a giant dehumidifier that will never shut up. And I'm not allowed to turn it off because I'm at my parents' house. So this is not my house. I can't make rules here. I can't do much here. So that's one problem. Problem two, I can't get the mic to work. I had a cool headset over there that was like decent. I also have like another headset, but like I don't know how to get the microphone to work. Every time I try to get it to work, like I try to like boost it up to be like, okay, well here we go. It just starts making loud screeching sounds, and that's not good. And then like anything else, it's just like ugh. So yeah, that means that I'm not able to really record. I could either record on my laptop, which is still in front of me, or uh, or I could record on that computer, but then I have to like use tape talk to record audio. There's like no real in between there. I couldn't get people to watch me because if I try to have I can't have like Discord commentary both on my phone and on the computer at the same time, trying to work. Like get the audio onto the computer, but then have that, and then have like and have them like be able to watch the game or whatever. So streaming's just out of the question. So yeah, recording is also kind of out of the question for the same reasons. Again, if you can hear me, that's great because the thing in the corner is still going right now. So I will play this back and make sure it's at least audible. But my phone has like a better mic that I think it should be fine. But in the meantime, I actually made this video because it's the end of the year and I kind of wanted to go into like a 2023 in review slash also 2022 in review, because those are my years where I tried to do a little bit more stuff and I tried to clear a lot of new games that I never cleared before. So we'll start with this year because it's more fresh. I actually beat a lot of games this year, and I was actually really happy with that. Like with the Castlevania Shuffler and the Mario Shuffler, and helping Lynn with the Mega Man Shuffler, which I was also just count because I made sure she put that stuff on YouTube so I could link it and be like, yeah, watch this. And that's like another like 20 games I hadn't beat on the channel yet. So, but like the Mario Shuffler, I beat Mario World for the first time on stream. Like I beaten it several times in my past, but that was the first time I beaten it on stream myself. That's on recorded history. It would have been recorded on Lynn's stuff, but she never really uploaded her videos much. I had to basically tell her to try to do that, and I told her to specifically upload the Mega Man VODs for reasons. The let's see, Mario versus Donkey Kong and Mario and Donkey Kong '94, brand new. Never beaten those on stream. I beaten them in my past, but never on stream. Like again, that's like part of the thing. It was game clearing. What's supposed to be games that I wanted to showcase for the internet. That like I wanted to beat more games for the internet, even if I beat them myself in the past. They were just things where I could be like, I could point to someone and be like, I beat that on the internet already, like that. And I also Pizza Tower, which was a brand new game I never played before. I got to play for the internet for the first time. So that was cool. And that was actually a really good game. That was actually what part 2 was. I was trying to go for... I would have tried to go for the P rings, but I was just going for 100%. And honestly, it didn't really work out very well. I got about halfway through 100%ing, and I was just like, I'm done. Also, I think people came over that. I think Lynn and Katie came back from work, and we tried to go look for houses or something. That didn't work because nobody wanted to take direct cash for houses. They were like, oh, you need to invest. You need like an actual job, an actual income. It's like, man, I would have actual income and a job if people actually cared about what I do. Basically. So, yeah, long story short of that, like, but anyway, Castlevania 1, besides Castlevania 1, 2, and 3, which I couldn't get 3 to work on the shuffler anyway, and the 3 Game Boy ones, I hadn't done much Castlevania content on the channel yet. I did those 6 games, and I was going to do more, but I never did. But then I added, like, Dracula X, which I would have never played on its own merit anyway, by itself. So having the shuffle basically helped me through Dracula X. And then, I would have had the N64 games, but I already beat those also online somewhere. One playthrough of the original one is literally on this channel right here. This is just going to YouTube, so yeah. And the second one is on the other thing. If people want, I could also do more live content. I don't know how well my brother would prefer if I just had. We've been playing board games lately. I don't know how much he'd want to stream us recording playing board games. I would like that because it helped me document certain things I could use for stories and events later for games I want to make. But yeah. Anyway. Trying to think. Yeah, but there's a lot of games like in the shufflers and in the things I had never beaten. And I could name them all. I need to make a spreadsheet or something, or just a huge sheet of games I beat and win, so that people can see it. But we're not gonna worry about that right now. But I'll just note that a lot of the Mario stuff, and technically even including like the fact that Mario's 1, 2, and 3 were all beaten in a different way through Deluxe, the Advanced series, because I played all the Advanced games except for Advanced Yoshi's Island, because I played that normally. That was also a new game I had not played on stream because that game was too long standard-wise. Wario Land 1, 2, and 3. I tried to stream 3 a long time ago, but that didn't really work out. But now I've streamed it enough to actually beat it, so there we go. There's still a lot of stuff to do to 100% that game, but I don't care. Wario Land 2. I beat the whole thing. I had that one. Actually, I did 100%. Yeah, that one I did 100%. Well, no, not really. I didn't 100% it, but I got pretty close, and then I think I ended up switching over to something else to do the last lap. I forget. I either did that or that. I don't know, but I know I don't think I got all the treasures, so I didn't really 100%, but I beat all the levels, which I would count as 100%. And that was just because of the other game. Mostly Yoshi's Island was taking forever, so I wanted to still have stuff to shuffle in for Yoshi's Island, mostly, and Wario Land 3. Wario Land 4 was new, Wario Land 1 was new. Wario Land 1 used to be one of my favorite games of all time. I don't think I'd put it up there as much anymore. Still solid, but I probably wouldn't put it up there. I want to do more shuffler content this year. I have like several ideas for shufflers. I was going to somehow try to implement these shufflers into like some type of cool thing. And the thing is that I might end up, this is a maybe, not a guarantee. I might end up being like, hey, can we, but I might need help. If anybody wants to help me, they can. Because what I need is like collected timestamps of things that people find funny from the shufflers. Like just a bunch of that. People could find me a bunch of clips of stuff they find funny from my shufflers. Then comment on the shuffler things like, oh yes, this was funny. This timestamp was funny. This timestamp was funny. Specifically, hopefully with timestamps. And I'm sorry I have to ask, but like, it's just I don't know what people find funny. And they can also do this for the pizza tower playthrough as well. Because if done, I have a new powerful computer. It's very powerful. It'll do stuff. But I also have to figure out like an editing style that I want to do, something that would be beneficial. I could use RPG Maker to do skits, but then I have to plan out skits, and I also need to record audio for it, like the voice audio. But again, we know that I can't really do much with that. And right now, we're looking at a time frame that either me and Lynn get lucky and we find a place somewhere nearby that will actually let us stay for cheap, like somewhere nearby, or sometime in April, me and Lynn take all the money we save up and we end up trying to move down to where Kitty is, and Kitty, who was able to find a job, will be able to like find a nice place for us to live and stuff like that. Ours is a little bit lower so you can see more than just my face. You know, let's turn now. That's excellent. This little table's the best I got right now. Let's see what else to talk about. 2022, quick year in review of that. I had beaten several games before I started my little 113 charade, and then I did the 113 charade, and technically I succeeded using the power of Atari games. I don't know if anyone's going to count that as a clear or not. Nobody has said anything about it. It's kind of sad because like I like doing YouTube. I still like doing YouTube. I could do more vlogs like this if people are interested. Maybe talk about some projects, but again, I have to find out there's interest in this, and so far I don't know. Basically though, quick little summary of what I've been up to lately. Yeah, I didn't really have much for the 20. I can't really remember much about 2022. That year was crazy because I tried to do 113 games, like halfway through. Terrible idea. Mostly just because like the internet was so terrible. Like the internet was actually good right before we left the apartments, which sucks because it's like, okay, well, we're probably gonna we didn't care. I didn't care about upgrading because I was like, well, we're probably gonna move or something soonish. I didn't know, and I think the energy I feel around here, why I don't really want to do too much, and why I haven't really been doing too much, is because it's like, well, I probably should be able to move soon. I have a deadline now of possibly April, but I still haven't been able to find much to help. If anybody actually does want to help, try to support me, and stuff and future endeavors. I'll link the my first game into the description, and like my Itch.io page, where I'm actually going to be working on a second game, so just probably keep the Itch.io page like ready. And like the first game, quick review of that is that it's about 4 miners trying to get out of a collapsing cave. It's all done in RPG Maker. It's the only program I really have, especially on my laptop, that we've all seen and I've complained about many times. It's a Walmart brand laptop, so, or not really a Walmart brand, but I bought it at Walmart. It's HP, but yeah, it's not very good. It's not very powerful. It's not as good as my new computer that I can't use because the microphone don't work. And there's a thing that's right there. That probably might be the cause of why the microphone don't work, because it's probably some type of stupid noise gate. It's like, oh yes, there's a small humming right there. It just prevents me from being heard ever. Because my voice is weird and like syncs up with so much stuff that, yeah. So here's what I've been trying to be up to lately. But anyway, no, the first game, before Minor Trader Escape, I got a pseudo card system that I'm going to actually be expanding on in my new game. The card system is basically like you have 4 stats. The fourth stat really doesn't get used that much yet, but I'll try to figure out ways to actually make more use of it with like traps and certain things like that. Medkit, well, med kits like whatever the D&D/medieval equivalent of a med kit would be, more or less, like like whatever, but like just stuff like that to use the intelligence stat. But I have 4 stats: strength, skill, wisdom, and intelligence. Now, technically, people usually mix intelligence with magic, but I switched it up and want to have intelligence be used for like thinking things through, or or just basically like trying to either create things. I'm trying to figure out how to do that, and like medical stuff or anything that would require like intelligence, music, stuff like that. Just anything that would actually require like memorization or like thinking it through or quick thinking, stuff like that. That's intelligence. Wisdom is being able to feel the magical energy within you. It's like common sense. It's like once you kind of know how you feel it, it's kind of like easy to figure out how to feel out magic in a world that has actual magic, unlike a real world. I mean, a real world. I'm not getting that type of discussion, but yeah. In a world where magic's a lot easier to use, regardless, and like more common. Yeah, just it'd be common sense. Once you figure out how to unleash magic, I figure it'd be common sense, which is usually how people look at wisdom. So yeah, and all the magic is from within or within crystals, which again which is based off your power. You'd be able to feel your energy going into the crystal as you blast people with it. So the higher your wisdom, the more that. Skill is strength is easy. That's melee combat, being able to hit somebody with a weapon, like a melee weapon. And skill is for long range combat, basically. So there's guns in the game. For the mining game, there's like guns that would use skill. There's a lot of melee weapons. There's several crystals you get about halfway through the game. That yeah, it's not a super long game, which is why I haven't really charged super much for it. It's like, yeah, I'd say it's probably roughly 3 hours of playtime if you're actually willing to sit down and play it and actually kind of get a general understanding of the stuff. I mean, it takes me 3 hours to get through it. It probably takes anybody else maybe like 5 or 6, because they have to figure out how the balance works. They have to figure out how the card system works, stuff like that. And so basically why I call it a card system is because you have like 4 equipment slots that you put with like different weapons, and these different weapons actually give you a boost, and then you get like stat boosting things and an armor piece, and then that's basically all you need. Um, and then the next game I got is me and my brother have been sitting down playing Hero Quest lately, and I had like an RPG Maker project that had like roughly 13 dungeons done. Maybe like with a little bit more, with like the last dungeons being extra long. So, um, it was supposed to be for something else. It was technically supposed to be like mixed ideas from like Dot Hack and stuff like that, but honestly, it's kind of so generic that it kind of works with like games like Dungeon Hunter and stuff like that. So, like Dungeon Hunter, Ultima, any game where you just dive into a dungeon, beat a boss, leave the dungeon, so forth. So, I mean, that's what Hero Quest basically was: is go into the dungeon, complete a mission, and then leave. Sometimes fighting a boss. My thing would always be fighting a boss because otherwise, what are we doing with the game? I also like. I made the mining game kind of like just add a like ad lib, but this one I'm trying to add like ideas for the other game. I got like this Into the Borderlands book here. I have like a bunch of D&D books over there. I have almost all of 5th edition campaign books. I don't have a lot of the smaller books because every D&D book costs $50, so I focus mostly on the campaigns because those are the ones that have the ideas inside them. The other ones have like the equipment and stuff like that that honestly, like the lore and the settings and all that stuff, and I'm like, I'm using my own settings. Regardless of anything, I'm using my own settings for half of this. So that stuff doesn't matter. And then also, the setting is technically inside the book for the most part. Yeah, sure, like this book might expand on the setting to like be like, yes, here's the political upheaval. It's like, I don't care. I'm making my own story up. I can't use your story to make games. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to because that'd be weird. I don't want. I want to kind of come up with something original, like original settings and stuff like that. So, like a lot of these D&D books, I have to make future games, but I don't really anybody to play D&D with. So that's what's been kind of keeping me at bay with that. And on top of that, I might and like anybody else, like I haven't really been able to find people to help with like a lot of stuff with a lot of these games, and like a couple of things I have. Um. So yeah. Anyway, call to action. Check out my ETO page to get my first game. It's super cheap. I have it for $3 right now. 3. I have not made a trailer for it. That's probably the one reason why it hasn't got much stuff. But again, I don't really want to know how to make a trailer for it. Like again, I now have a super editing computer that could do all types of cool edits. I just don't know what yet. I don't know how. And again, I can't really record voices except through this phone. And again, the only place I could is in a room where this thing goes off 24/7. It never stops. Like there's like I'll notice it'll be stopped for 5 minutes, and then like the next thing I think, like the next moment I'm thinking about it, it's already back on. It never stops. So I would never be able to record or stream down here. I can do this. I can do like little talks like this if people are interested. But yeah, I ramble. That's my whole thing. So I apologize if my rambling's gonna get whatever. But thank you all for watching. This is basically all I kind of wanted to talk about. Um, yeah, I'm sorry I don't have any fancy visuals or anything to add to this to make it more interesting besides my face, which is the best visual ever done. I'm being silly. Um, yeah, sorry I keep turning around. I'm trying to see if there's anything else to think about, but I can't think of anything. Yeah, I've been selling my side notes. I've been selling my game collection, trying to make some money. I had a couple pseudo rare ones. If anybody's interested, I have a copy of Tronbon, The Misadventures of Tronbon. I have a physical copy of it. I don't have the case, but I have a physical copy of it. If anybody's interested, I might link my price charting down below if anybody's interested in like buying some of my game collection. I do have a few rare ones from like PS2 before. I would try to sell other things, but like beyond PS2, but like they're not really worth much in the market right now. They're like worth less. Like, I didn't see a single game that was actually worth more than the price you bought the game at when you buy it. You know, so I'm not worried about anything PS3, Xbox 360, but like PS2, anything below, I have a few games for that right now. I'm probably put more up, so if people want to keep tabs on that. I'll keep my price charting there. It's been kind of helping me out so far, but if anybody else is interested, uh, yeah, been selling my games. And the only reason I'm doing that is because one, I'm tired of having to move. Like, I've had like this game collection since I was like tiny. When I was tiny, all the games were just like Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo, and it wasn't that much. It was basically like maybe like 30 games total, maybe like 20. Like there's a lot of NES games, and then there was like several to a bunch of Super Nintendo games. It basically fit into like a wooden chest. Like, it wasn't like a full on treasure chest, but it might as well have been because it was basically like a box that opened upward. It's basically a treasure chest, but it wasn't in the shape of a treasure chest. Basically, it was just full of the games. And then as I got older, I collected more and more and more and more. Which part of like everything I wanted to do with YouTube was I wanted to showcase these games to people. That's why I played like the Ninja Turtle game a long while back. That's why I played like. That's why I was trying to do Wild Arms streams because I have all these games, tons of them. But it's hard to move with these games a lot. And honestly, I'm kind of got to the point where I'm like, for the most part, except for my newer games and for like that, because one, 90% of the older games are on digital now in some shape or format. I know a lot are not, but those ones can be found on digital in other ways. My new computer rig can actually now play up to PS2 quality stuff for through certain means. So yeah, I can still technically show off those games in some way, shape, or form that I grew up with. I wish a lot more games would come out in like an official manner, but until then, like, what are people gonna do? The only way to play like 70% of games is to actually own a physical copy of them, and I'd love to, but at the same time, I gotta survive, and nobody wants to hire me. So, also, if you've got to this into this part of the video, since now I have all types of stuff, if people want to, this is also a small call out that if anybody wants to call, like, basically, trying to think of a word here, like, pay me for things like gameplay footage, like for Gametal. I know he uses like I don't know how his process works, but he gets gameplay footage from other people and stuff like that, and so do a lot of other people that can't just afford to sit down or like to have their like the gameplay actually there. Like they can't do the gameplay themselves because either they're not like, or just because it's harder for them to record, one reason or another. And the other thing is, I know that there's that. And also, people want to hire me for editing, where I don't have to do any voices or anything like that. I can do that too. The call out post that if anybody wants to hire me for things, yay, please. I would love to work. I would love to help any other inspiring YouTube person try to do the best they can. And I will be willing to put in the work and do that stuff. Just let me know. I will happily do whatever anybody needs me to do. Just as long as they're willing to pay and give and allow me to live until I can make the projects that I want to do. And also give me good practice to actually make future projects for YouTube and stuff like that. And the other projects I actually want to do, like the games I want to make and stuff like that. So there's a few call out posts of things that need to be done for helping me survive. So please. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If anybody actually made it to the end of this 30-ish minute video, I have a reward for you. Give me 1 second. Hopefully this doesn't turn bad, but we'll try. If it does, well, I'll just cut this entire bit out. So here's a reward for you who stuck around. Sorry. It's a cat. There's the other fur baby. There's the cat. There's the cat. Look at the cats. They go merp. They got flea collars on so they can be protected. This cat really isn't our cat, but we're like keeping it out of the snow. It's been snowing lately. There's some of my boxes of games. There's more games, some board games, some D&D games. Yeah. So please help me survive and try to find a new place to live. That's all I want to say. Because a chunk of the money will help me survive. The other half will help me find a place to live. So thank you and bye.